Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 7 of 40 Something Podcast. I'm your slightly disgruntled host, Trevor Schaefer, and with me is my salty mate, Jerry Mullen.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Uh, I want to go back to I wanted to bring this up on the show because I've been listening to the Grown Up Geek backlog that you have
Mm-hmm.
online, and I think it was episode 27 when we talked about Duke Nukem Forever because the episode's called For Never,
Yeah.
and we made a bet on that show that who would beat who the first time out was for $1, and I don't think we ever did that.
We mean who would be like a death match?
Yeah, me versus you.
Oh.
For I know we played it a lot, me, you, and John.
John, I don't think that you and I ever played it.
I don't think me and you went head to head on it. So
I think it was
we'll
always
have to
just
think
the three of
about
us.
that going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Jack was playing Mortal Kombat. I call it Mortal Kombat 9. It came out 2011. Last week actually, and he beat it on beginner level. And watching him play it, and then him and I played a couple rounds. It's like, damn, I gotta get with Jerry on this and see if the online still works because I forgot how much fun that game is.
I don't think the online networks will work because I think that was part of GameSpy, and GameSpy is shut down.
Oh, good question.
You want to know why I know that?
Why?
Because in another episode of Growing Up Geek, we talked about this. There's a lot of odd, like, if you start listening, I randomly listen to episodes as I'm laying down for bed, and I lived it, so if I don't get through it, it's no big deal, you
True.
know? But there's a lot of, like, really, like, conversations that me and you are having now
Mm-hmm.
that were oddly relevant then, or vice versa. It's really strange, you know what I mean?
But the one thing I will say about GameSpy is, from what I understood when they used GameSpy for the very few PlayStation 3 games and a few PlayStation 2 games that they used it for, it was mostly for online friend matching. And not so much, it wasn't the servers that were running games, or GameSpy wasn't running the servers. It was the friends lists and everything. As far as I know, I could be an asshole and be wrong, but that's been known to happen from time to time.
I heard something about it once or twice.
So doesn't happen often, kind of like a solar eclipse, but it happens every once in a while.
Yeah. Sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while, buddy.
Yes.
So.
And if you're watching the video version, I want to thank you first of all, but also you could see that we're being sellouts. We're recording this on May 4th, which is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So we had to make...
Let's piss off all the geeks. May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
I almost feel bad about that. Yeah, it's it's odd how many people participate in May the 4th.
Yeah.
Like, I must have heard it. I was at work for about 5-6 hours a day, my usual Friday, and I must have heard it 30 times. And there's not a lot of people there on a Friday. So, and your Facebook feed.
Oh, it's horrible.
Explodes,
And I feel like a sellout doing a Star Wars overlay, but I'm like, okay, I guess maybe.
Hey, George Lucas, you could sponsor us.
Actually, I'd have to redo this and put all kind of shit that doesn't belong in there.
Yeah, and then we'll have to go back and do an HD upgrade of it,
Yes.
and a reboot, so.
But let me piggyback, since you brought it up, so be warned. Piggyback off something we recorded, I think, back in episode 4, where so many people online that you and I have known for 20 years, sometimes 20 years plus, that never outwardly came and said I was a Star Wars fan back in the day. They're the ones now wearing the Star Wars shorts. Oh, yeah. Shirts. We're gonna watch all the movies tonight. I'm like, when did you become a Star Wars fan? It's like,
yeah, it's like the big sellouts. I know, like, a guy I work with, and he was like, yo, I got up at this point because, like, TBS started showing them at like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
With the Phantom Menace.
Well, you start that while everyone's asleep. You get that one out of the way.
They could just go right to where he becomes Darth Vader and without the no part.
Yeah.
And then just move on. And then you get into the good shit, which is pretty much 4 and beyond.
Yeah. I was going to say the other redeeming part of Revenge of the Sith is the Obi-Wan Anakin fight. That is actually a pretty good fight.
It is. I think the Darth Maul battle is pretty good too.
The Darth Maul, though, if you watch Anakin and Obi-Wan, the Darth Maul battle looks slow compared to that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I'll give it a thought. Yeah, I agree, but still, that's a good fight.
I'm going to get a lot of hate mail on this one, which is good because you don't know my email address. No!
No.
It's, I think one of the best lightsaber battles, actually, is Kylo Ren versus Rey in The Force Awakens. Because you have Kylo Ren, who's overly emotional, playing off the emotions, and you have Rey, who's completely undisciplined. That they're just...
Kylo Ren's a bitch. Okay,
He is, but he's still better than Anakin Skywalker.
Like young Anakin Skywalker?
Like Anakin... Well, before he became Darth Vader. When he became Darth Vader, he was a badass. But when he was Anakin Skywalker, he was a whiny little bitch.
He was.
I don't like sand. It gets everywhere.
Padme's gonna die.
So, I think that's one of the better lightsaber fights, honestly.
So, let's get right off of this. And what's your thoughts on Solo? I know I sent you the Solo cut.
The Solo, yeah, and I saw it like 18 different
that
places now.
Funny. That was pretty funny.
I actually read a really good thing about Solo, and I completely agree with it.
All right, go ahead. Tell me.
Okay, so our first introduction to Han Solo is, of course, in A New Hope. That really the first scene you see of him is him shooting Greedo, and yes, he fucking shot first. Don't tell me he didn't.
Han always shoots first.
Exactly. So you automatically saw Han there. You knew he was a badass. You got the whole scoundrel thing going on there. How he acted with Princess Leia. At the end, he left the rebellion because he was just in it for the money. Then he comes back at the very end, spoiler alert, and pretty much shoots Darth Vader's ass to let Luke blow up the Death Star. So you pretty much got a full sense of who Solo was. I mean, even
awesome.
Yeah, even when he's talking to Obi-Wan about the Force, he's like, hokey religions can't replace a good blaster. I mean, you get that sense of who he is. Now, do we need a whole movie telling the backstory when we're already very familiar with that one movie, let alone Empire and Jedi, of who this character is and what he's like? Conversely, especially with Donald Glover playing him, I'd rather a Lando movie. Because we find Lando, who supposedly was a gambler. He was a smuggler as well. The first time we meet him, he's a governor of a mining operation in Cloud City.
Mm-hmm.
What's his backstory? How did he get from losing the Millennium Falcon to Han Solo in some kind of game to a governor of a mining colony? That, to me, that's a more interesting story than Han Solo's backstory.
I don't know. You know what I see is this Solo movie it's like the Jim Kirk's portion of Star Trek at the beginning, where he's rebellious and you know, wants to be this great thing.
The 2009 Star Trek, we should preface that.
What's that?
The 2009 Star Trek, I said we should
the new Star Trek.
Yeah.
The Jim Kirk backstory is like
the J.J. Abrams universe.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good, actually.
They're not bad.
I like them. I really do enjoy them. The third one was a little weak.
I actually thought the third one had the best writing.
Nah.
Really?
The third one was real weak.
Honestly, after watching all three of them, I think the first one's the weakest.
Nah, that's the...
I know a lot of people did not like Into Darkness, and I loved Into Darkness.
Wow, we got way off topic, because this is off topic.
Jerry and Trevor.
So I think I want to see that, because you want to know how he becomes like. You want to see how he gets the Millennium Falcon. Let's be real. That's what we all really want to see. We know how it happens, but we want to see how it happens.
And what the hell is up with the Millennium Falcon?
Doesn't it look longer?
No.
Is that my...
Well, the Millennium Falcon, you know, it's basically, yeah, I know, Star Trek. It's basically a hand.
Yeah.
This is completely solid. So the space that goes in between here, at some point, it looks like it actually gets ejected. Which
it's like an escape pod?
That's all I'm thinking. It could be like some kind of escape pod.
Yeah.
But even if you look at the toys, I first saw it actually with the toys, when they released the toys. A mutual friend of ours who's bigger into toys than I ever was as a child posted pictures of it, and actually, there's two of our mutual friends that are like that, and
I have a couple friends like that. Go ahead anyway.
But they posted a picture of the Millennium Falcon that they got, and it is an entire solid piece, which I just thought is weird.
Well, you know what? That'll be part of the story. I guarantee.
Yeah.
Well, you know what has to be in this movie? At least I hope so.
What?
Is the Kessel Run? It has to be in this, right? Right?
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. I don't know.
It was like the most notorious part of the ship. Story about the ship.
The worst part is George Lucas, when he wrote it, I don't think he ever realized, or no one ever caught on, that a parsec is not a speed or a time measurement. It's distance. Yes. So I want to know, will they fix that, saying the Kessel Run, he did it in under 12 parsecs? Like, did he find a shortcut? Because in the first one, you're led to believe, and even in the kind of the Force Awakens, when Rey mentions it, that it's kind of made to sound like a time factor.
Yeah.
That I hope they say it's like distance, like he found a shortcut somewhere, or popped through a wormhole really quick,
Something.
Yeah.
Or the fact that they say Chewie's 150 years old in the trailer. I love that part.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Well,
I mean, I know they referenced him in other films.
Oh, yeah.
I get that.
But I mean, really Wookiees live to like 400 or 500 years old.
Yeah. Pity Peter Mayhew won't.
No. But will they show how Han met Chewbacca, or are they automatically going to come as a set when the movie starts?
I think my personal feeling is that's going to happen during the film.
You think so?
Yeah. I think you're gonna see a lot in the beginning. What's wrong?
Nothing. I noticed my webcam. It looks really blurry. I don't know why.
Oh. Because this is what I saw. Okay.
It's great that the audio people are probably like, "What the fuck?
What are they doing?" I think they're gonna have to do that in film. I don't think that could happen before. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna, like there's already clips of him younger than he is.
Because the whole backstory originally in the extended universe for Han Solo was he actually applied to the Imperial Academy to become a pilot, basically a stormtrooper. Mm-hmm. And he left. I don't remember if he was accepted. I think he was accepted, but he did leave I guess you call them the Imperial Star Force. You never really hear what the pilots are called. But he did leave there and then became like a bounty hunter, which you kind of get in a little bit of the trailer when he meets Lando. There's this whole plan, and Woody Harrelson's there, and he's like, once you do this, you can never go back.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson. I don't know. Yeah, I have my reservations about him being in the film. He's still riding on that Now You See Me train.
And see, whenever I look at him, I just can't get past the white men can't jump movie. Because that's how I see him with the little flipped up hat and everything. And
I can't see him past Californication.
He wasn't in Californication.
Or California. I forget. Where he was him and his girl were criminals. I can't remember what it was.
True Romance.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Him and, what the hell's her name?
What was that? Indecent Proposal?
Yeah, Indecent Proposal. He was in with Demi Moore and Robert Redford.
Yeah. So Demi Moore was. No, she's still hot. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's a.
She's more plastic now than anything.
That's okay. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
When they did Charlie's Angels, the second one, when she was in it, the rumor going around was she spent, I think it was $150,000 to $200,000. Like, to get her teeth enameled, to get better implants, to have this done and that done to her body. It's like taking in a sports car for an overhaul.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right, lift it up.
Yeah. Put new shocks underneath there.
Yeah. Change those tires. They're looking, that's just terrible. I apologize to any female viewer for that statement. That was pretty bad.
Funny enough. I know. Again, off topic. So I took my truck in last week for a oil change, and I get that infamous call. Hey, we need to talk.
Oh, no.
So my car... Oh, yeah. So a $30 oil change quickly turned into a $1,300 bill, which I was like, I can't do that today. I budgeted $30 today. Yeah. So I need 4 new tires and 2 front struts. And anybody who knows us, we're not mechanically inclined.
No.
My mom actually said, you need to, aren't any of your friends mechanically inclined? And I laughed. I said, out of all my friends, I'm probably the most mechanically inclined because I've changed oils and plugs and done simple maintenance to machinery.
Yeah, I've done small things to my
Yeah.
car, like airing the tires. You know, I could probably change the oil in my car. You know.
So I looked online. My dad was always the mechanic. Sadly, he's been gone now for over a year. I can't pick his brain. So I yell at the urn all I want, and he doesn't talk back. So that's really rude. But so
It also creepy.
it is kind of creepy. But you know, my family's been in the cemetery business for over 100 years. Doesn't get much creepier than that. But I've been looking online to how to do struts. And after watching a couple different YouTube videos, I think I'm going to get myself into a lot of trouble, and I'm going to try to do it myself. So this could be interesting. The geek who can strip a computer down to its bare metal case and put it back together, no problems, no questions, is going to try to take apart his suspension system on his truck by myself.
Good luck with that. Count your fingers now. Count your fingers now.
But the one thing I will say, now, this is my whole thing. They quoted me about $750 to get the job done. I could buy both strut assemblies, which is everything, for $153
Oh yeah.
for two of them. And if I do the labor, I just saved all that money. So I think I may give it a shot
You
soon.
ever see the labor rate at Firestone? Or
Oh, yeah.
where you go? You go
Yeah.
to Firestone, I know that.
Yeah, it's like
I go to Cole Muffler.
I think it's like $60 an hour. It's something.
Oh, one of my
obscene
uncle's
like that.
shop is $129.95 an hour.
Ouch.
Yes.
So, like tires, I can't do tires. I don't have a setup for that at all. So, but they say you got to get your what?
Do you have a jack?
I have a jack. I have jack stands. I have ramps. You'd be surprised how much shit I actually have. But that's not even my dad's stuff. I actually have a bunch of that
Said
shit.
if you have a jack, you could change your. Oh, you're talking about actually taking them off the rim.
Yeah, and remounting them.
Okay,
Then I have to
alright.
balance them and then do an alignment. I don't have that equipment.
That's why I buy used tires for my car.
So,
I take it to a guy. $75 later, I got 4 nearly new tires on.
see,
the
for
Honda.
me, there's two things in your car that you should always buy new: tires and brakes. Because that's going to save your life. Because that makes you stop.
I know, but I'll tell you, like, I've always bought used cars. Well, that
Yeah,
too.
that's
True.
true.
But I've always bought used tires for my cars, and
Really?
I've honestly never had an issue with it. Knock on wood, because they've always worked out. Like the guy I go to, he gets nearly new tires all the time and sells it to be used.
Mhm.
So I never have any complaints. You know what I mean? Now the brakes, I totally agree with.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. You know, every time I take my car for inspection, and there's, everybody's had the lick and stick inspection over the years. Sometimes you just need it to pass.
I used to
But-
go to a garage that was like that. They'd look at me like, we could probably get by with just doing this. I'm like, just do that.
It's not the garage I go to now, obviously, because that's a relative. Because he wouldn't let my car leave if it was unsafe, because he's good like that. But a place I used to go to would pull in. I talk to the guy for 15 minutes, have a cigarette with him. He'd scrape the thing off the window, put the new one on. This is before emissions. Was emissions testing,
Back
They
in
had
the
to hook it up
good
to that
day.
machine. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I've had some cars that had emissions issues. I probably should be dead.
That emissions test is such bullshit.
If your car's over a certain age, if your car's semi-newer, they don't even test it.
Well, there's a mileage requirement too. I think it's if you
Yeah.
do under 4,000 a year, I think it is, you're exempt.
Yeah, well,
So-
that's the thing about my car is I only drive it to work and back, and
Oh.
occasionally so I usually get the exempt on it.
Yeah.
Because I take her car everywhere. We do. I shouldn't say I do. We do,
But that's such a bullshit charge. $35 to see if your gas cap is leaking.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You know how you fix it if it is? You go buy a fucking gas cap
Yeah.
for $7.
Seriously.
I'll tell you a story about this, and this is true. I took my car for inspection before. I'm not going to say where, okay, because that's true. But I took it to a place, pulled it in. I said, hey, I need it inspected. I was going on vacation. And I didn't want the car on the street uninspected because, cops they'll pick up on that and nail you. So anyway, long story short, I get my car inspected. Everything's good. Leave. pull into the gas station next door because I'm thinking to myself, I got a quarter tank. I'm right here. Get it done. Open up the door. No gas cap. Like, well, maybe when they took it out, they never put it back on. So I pull back into the place, which is right next door to the gas station. I go, I say, hey, you know what? You guys did my emissions test. I didn't get my gas cap back. Oh, let me go get him. Let me go get the guy that did your car. He goes, I'm not even kidding you. He goes, I figured your car was good. He goes, I didn't just put I have a pass cap I just put on the machine. Without pass cap.
Oh.
I said, how much for a new gas cap for my car? He goes, $25. I said, see you later. I'll go somewhere else. And I went down to like Pep Boys or something and bought a new gas cap, like a generic one for like $6.
Well, I won't say the place that we went to, but my wife many years ago, she had a PT Cruiser that got sideswiped. And
Cruiser?
Yeah, and the passenger side, driver's side passenger door got crushed to the point you couldn't open or close it. Couldn't put down the window or anything. So I had it taped up, and we had to go through the court and everything else like that. And at the end, it was deemed no fault. Our insurance wouldn't cover it because they felt it was her fault. Her insurance wouldn't pay because they felt it was our fault. And it went on for almost 3 years. Actually, we still got paperwork about the court situation after we got rid of the car, which I think was freaking hilarious.
That's hilarious.
So we went to the place that we took our cars for quite a while and went in for an inspection. And we had done so much business with these guys that they looked at the car and they're like, okay, it's not going to pass inspection because we can't open or close the door. All 4 doors have to open and close. I said, okay. I said, that's going to be a problem. I explained the situation. He's like, just get it fixed for next year and slap the sticker on it. I was like, thank you.
See you next year.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on topic with Jerry and Trev.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, I know, but we actually have.
Actually do have. I actually contributed stories this week.
I know, Trev. I'm so proud of you this week.
Actually, I'll tell you why. It's this goddamn heat wave we're going through. Because
it's not a heat wave.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. 3 days ago, it was in the 60s. It was over 90 degrees yesterday.
I'll fucking hang up on you if you keep this conversation going.
I put in 2 air conditioners today in the bedrooms.
What is wrong with you? It is not that hot.
It was 86 degrees in my house yesterday afternoon. My daughter and I had to go outside to the playground to cool off. It was cooler outside than in the house.
I'm waiting for these guys as we put the air conditioner.
Well, right now, I sit by my thermostat, and it is 79 degrees right now on the thermostat right there.
So, okay.
I don't do well over 70 degrees. I'm a cold weather person.
Neither bothers me anymore.
Oh, no, I can't stand it.
I just trip down on my skivvies when it's hot.
So
there's an image for all you ladies. And then,
iBleach.com.
I bleach. Brain bleach.
But no, I put the air conditioners.
Window with a fan, and I'm good. You know, that's how I am.
So I only have one
fan.
fan.
Sweltering 90-degree heat all day, all night, all day. Yeah, of course I put an air conditioner in.
Because we only have one box fan. I gave the other one to my wife. So last night it was so hot. I gave the box fan to the kids, stuck that in the window. And for the second night in a row, the wife and I are laying there practically naked going, don't touch me. Touch me and I'll cut you. You know? Because they were just sitting there both.
Slice your throat.
Yeah, both windows open, the ceiling fan on high going, I will kill you if you try to snuggle. And so I put
did that shit on purpose to her.
So the only reason you got stories, long story short, is I put air conditioners in, and after having the one in our bedroom cranked for about an hour, it was like, I say this tongue-in-cheek, but it was a nice balmy 78 degrees in there, as opposed to the 85 it was an hour before.
All right.
I got to lay across the bed and actually, like, I even told my daughter, for some reason, the heat doesn't really affect her. She was watching TV in the living room all day. And I even know I had hers cranked. And I go, Daddy's going to go lay down. Leave me alone for a little bit. And I just did the whole X across the bed like, oh, sweet Jesus, this is good.
See, but you know what? That's my problem with, and I know this sounds stupid, and it really is, but my problem with air conditioning is that...
Don't say the money.
Huh?
Don't say the money for the electricity.
No.
Oh, okay.
if it's hot, it's fucking hot. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I live with 3 women. I'll put that air conditioner on. The big one is always in my window. That fucking 12,000 BTU monster. It's always in my window.
Yeah.
All I have to do is take the plastic off it for the winter and turn it on. That's all I got to do. My problem with air conditioning is it's like this, okay? It's hot out, all right? You go out, you got to go to work, okay? It's 95,000 degrees out. You put that air conditioner on in the car, it takes fucking 10 minutes to get going or whatever like that. Then you're nice and cool, right? For that rest of your ride to work. What happens when you get out of that fucking car?
Oh, it hits you like a cannon.
It hits you like beyond. It's like a tank that they fucking paratroopered in. You know,
someone starts smothering you with a wet wool sweater as soon as you get out of that car.
That's why I try to avoid it as much as I can. It's like you get tempered by it, and then you're fucked even worse.
Now, see, that I will agree with when you're going from place to place, especially if I'm going to work. Because in the summertime I work outside, so I have to get used to the heat. So I try to avoid the air conditioning, especially on the night I have to work. But when I'm home, I'm not the kind of guy who sits there and looks like Matthew McConaughey with the greasy, sweaty skin and the greasy, sweaty hair. I don't need to look like him. I want to be comfortable.
Oh, thank God for that.
Yes. I want to sit around and not...
Anyway.
It is. I want to sit around and not sweat. And that's why I'm the cooler I am, the more comfortable I am.
I'd hate to say it, and I always joke about it with you, but that's a first world thing. It really
is.
is.
Oh, absolutely.
It totally is. You know,
come on.
I could care less about that. You know, I only need it when I sleep.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I don't care. If this downstairs was 95 degrees all day long, I would deal with it. But when I go to bed, that's it.
And that's why I did the 2 bedrooms. I put each bedroom has a 5,000, and then we have a 10,000 for the living room. But it's going back down to the 70s next week, so I'm like, I'm not going to bring up the 10,000 because that thing's a fucking monster to lift by yourself. And actually, it's not so bad lifting by yourself. It's putting it in the window by yourself is the thing. So I bring it up on a hand truck. But trying to do that, or I should say doing that, when next week I'd rather have the windows open with a nice breeze. Yeah, I'll leave that out. Now the bedrooms.
That's why I got the front door open right now because it's nice.
Well, I have my windows closed now just because we're getting that wicked thunderstorm soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
The wind was actually scaring my dog. Wolfie kept jumping in my lap every time the wind would howl. So, well, when the wind howls, the curtains blow, and then my flag outside. I mean, it just gets that loud flapping noise, and he hates that noise. So.
Yeah. You got to record that when he's being a dick. So.
We are really off topic tonight.
Yeah, all right, let's get to it. Let's start with something we'll go off of last week.
Yeah.
Hello?
Speaking of dog, he's like, hey, I want to be in this week.
All right, get your big brown ass down. That's enough. Okay, I love you, but I'll pet you. All right, now go away. All right, here we go. So let's talk about something we talked about last week.
Sure.
Ash vs. the Evil Dead got canceled, and then the legendary Bruce Campbell, who played Ash Williams, says, I'm retiring from playing the character ever again.
I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, you know what? If they roll a truck full of money up to his house,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he'll don the blue shirt.
Yes, he will. I've never known someone who says they're going to retire from a character and is truly retired from that character when said character has basically made their career.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. He'll never walk. He'll never truly be free of Evil Dead.
No.
Until he's actually dead.
Yeah.
You know? Don't be wrong. I loved Ash vs. the Evil Dead. It was great. It was a nice continuation of Ash's story. And there you go. What we need is another My Name is Bruce, though. They got to make a sequel to that.
I got to be honest. That was a rough movie to get through.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Now, another Bubba Hotep. Bubba Hotep was fantastic.
That's hard to watch.
See, wow, we are complete opposites on that one.
Bubba Hotep's hard to watch. I don't know, because I see him as Ash.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see him as somebody else. I don't know. I liked him in, what was that, Burn Notice that he was on?
Oh, yeah, you were big in it. I never saw that show.
That show's really great. But Trev, that show's off the air, so you could binge watch it, like you said last week.
Are you considering? I tried looking. I haven't found a complete version yet. I'd like to get the entire series of Briscoe County Jr.
Ooh.
Yeah.
One season?
Yeah, it was only one season.
Yeah. It's like fight, but it'll never be Firefly.
Okay, we're moving on.
Why?
I was not terribly impressed with Firefly.
Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah. It
yeah,
was okay at best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll move on.
Let's agree to disagree.
I tend to like the horrible series that very few people have heard of, and like Earth 2. I loved Earth 2, and you probably never even heard of Earth 2.
No.
See?
Hey, dickhead.
Hey, don't call me dickhead.
No, I'm talking about Schmucky with his fucking pig toy thing. Hang on. Dickhead. Stop it. Fucking asshole. Yeah, he's got this pig here. Of course, I bought this for him.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
So he wants to play with you with it.
Right now. You hear it?
I hear it.
It's fucking annoying. Let it go! Yeah, all right.
Sounds like Kermit on the weekend.
Talk louder. I'll be fine. Let's see. Trev, I saw Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, I haven't seen Infinity War. Like we talked about in the pre-show, I don't see me seeing it in the theater, I'll be honest.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Because, you suck. But that's all right, because I really want to have a topic discussion with you, but, a spoiler alert kind of thing. But we can't because you haven't seen it, so. And I'm telling you, all the memes and stuff on the internet are absolutely true about it. When you walk out or leave, I saw it in the drive-in, but you leave the theater or wherever you see it, you will be like, holy fuck, that just happened.
And see, for me, like we explained, I only get so many nights in a year that the wife and I just get to go out. That both of us are more excited to see Deadpool 2 than Infinity War. So we literally, because they're so close together, we have to pick one, and we both agreed on Deadpool 2. So
what you need is to see both in one night.
Dude, that's like 4.5 hours of movie.
I'm sorry. You really just said that? How many times have you binged watched the show?
That's different. That's at home.
Ow!
I gotta find a babysitter for 4.5 hours. That is next to impossible.
Okay. All right, moving on. Now we talk about it. Well, we talked about. Sorry, I hit the mute on my thing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Anyway,
the other thing I have a problem with Infinity War, and I know this is. Go ahead, say it. This is going to be a first world problem.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta wait a year to see how it concludes.
So?
Deadpool 2, I don't have to. I could go laugh my ass off for 2 hours. What?
How do you know that's not going to have a cliffhanger ending? You don't know that.
I'm pretty sure. Because they already said pretty much what the next movie's going to be. So. It's going to be X-Force. Spoiler alert.
Well, I understand that, but you don't know how it's going to end. You can't use that card. I'm calling it now. Let's move on. All right, so we're talking Marvel. Chris Pratt confirms that Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yes!
So, I can't say anything. So let's move on. Yeah, I really can't say anything.
Well, no. If you read the article, it did say that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will take place after all the events in both Infinity Wars.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Infinity War.
So obviously one of the Guardians of the Galaxy dies.
I'm not saying anything.
You just did without saying anything.
Nope, I'm not saying anything.
So.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. I'm not allowed to. I won't say that. I do not want to ruin Infinity War for you.
Okay.
Please tell me you'll see it at least before the sequel comes out.
Yes, I will. Because
and not 3 hours before you go see the sequel.
That is before. I'll be sitting there. I'll be sitting in a theater on my phone, going, "Shit! I gotta hurry up!
You're like fast forwarding.
Yeah. But
okay, all right.
Another excuse, and it is a bullshit excuse, is I still haven't seen 2 of the Marvel movies. I haven't sat down and watched Doctor Strange, even though we've owned it for like a year and a half, and we never got a chance to go see Black Panther.
Doctor Strange is on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't got a chance to sit down and physically watch it. I always find something else better to watch. I shouldn't say better, because I'm sure it's pretty good. I just find something else that strikes my fancy at that moment. So. Plus, my wife watched it without me during her Christmas break, so it's not like something we could both watch together when we get into our movie kick, where we'll watch a movie once a week, so.
Well, yeah, I get it. And, I try my best to ignore, like, if we were going to watch a show together, because Kelly and I won't really watch movies together in the hall, but we will watch TV shows together. In fact, I really don't watch TV anymore anyway. I stopped watching shit because like we watched all the CW shows, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I have the life force to catch up on them now. I'm just like, yeah, the stories are great and all, but I'm like so many episodes behind now. I don't want to catch up.
The one thing we're watching now, we watched 2 episodes last week. We're on, I believe we just watched episode 5, is Lost in Space on Netflix, which is actually damn good.
Compared to the original?
It's a completely different story than the original or the 90s movie.
The 90s movie's cool.
So, it's a completely different take on the story, and I don't want to ruin anything for you if you're going to watch it. And I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, because on Day of the Shirt yesterday, there was a T-shirt which I'm pretty sure spoiled a major plot point coming up. Oh. And I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, fuck. That actually makes a lot of sense. Anyway, yeah, I know. Once I look at it, I think about it, I'm like, that makes a ton of sense. And I'm like, oh, I hate when shit like that gets ruined for me. Another show got ruined for me that way. What were we watching? And then same thing, A Day of the Shirt, and it had a T-shirt that was a plot point. Oh, it was last season of Supernatural. Oh, there was a T-shirt. I
can't believe that show's still on the air.
I like that show. We've seen every episode. In fact, I got acquire this week's episode to watch over the weekend.
I just can't believe it's still on the air.
13 seasons, buddy, and I think next season's going to be the last one.
Well, thank God for that. It's like the Game of Thrones people.
I saw the first 2 or 3 episodes of Game of Thrones, and I just couldn't get into it.
No, me either. It was softcore porn with hardcore moments.
You want to talk softcore porn? Watch Westworld. A fantastic series, though, by the way. But you see more tits ass.
Time for TV shows, but yet are 2 Marvel movies behind, and have not caught up on Doctor Who.
I'm never going to get caught up on Doctor Who, so you can forget about that. What?
Oh no, I'm never going to let it go. It's like Portrait of Ruin.
That's true. The only way I watch TV during the day and usually at night is now on my phone with this little stand. And that's pretty much my TV. Forget about the 50-inch 4K that's sitting right there that now shows Paw Patrol all day and whatever show my wife wants to watch at night.
Okay.
So, this is now my TV.
Right. Yeah, I do. I watch YouTube, so.
But I will say this: it took me 9 months, I believe, to get through the first season of Westworld, which was only like 10 or 12 episodes. So it's not like I'm binging. I got that right where it ended, actually, right after they had the season finale for first season, and I've been watching it slowly since then. And I actually finished the last episode of season 1 a week before season 2 started. So now I'm actually kind of current. So.
Oh, there you go. Oh, what's this? Okay, nothing. All right, so where we did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, we did that already.
We're talking.
We got.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we're talking Guardians, Nintendo has to start guarding their shit. The Switch was hacked. An actual, not software, a hardware hack.
Yeah, I did a Trevor on this article. I lightly perused it.
Basically, there's a chip inside every single Switch from release day to now. So if you go buy a Switch today, it has the same chip. The only way to get around this is they literally have to redesign the Switch and replace this chip. Because what they figured out is you need a 32 gigabyte card, you need a USB 3.0 port, and a USB to C to USB 3 cable. With that, you're actually going to do what they call a boot ROM hack, which is basically this little program that's going to access that chip and access the code on the actual chip to bypass Nintendo's software. Now, the only way they can actually fix that, you cannot write to these chips. These are ROM chips, read-only memory. There is no way to write these inside the Switch, so any kind of software update is completely useless. The only way to fix this is to physically redesign the Switch and put a different chip in there, or an updated chip. So every single Switch that's out there is
never
hackable.
Gonna do.
I don't know. They might, because already they've gotten, of course, the Nintendo emulators on there. The NES, SNES. They have a PlayStation emulator on there. And as of this week, they actually got the Dolphin emulator on there, which does GameCube, Wii, and Wii U games. So
it's a Linux-based hack, right? Is that what it is?
No. It's actually lower than that. There's two different hacks. There's the bootload hack, which then allows you to put any software you want on there, and which there's not a lot of software on there now to put on there. But then there's another bootloader that'll actually boot the Linux kernel onto there.
Oh, okay.
So
that's the part I was starting to read.
So then you could actually turn the Switch basically into a Linux tablet, which then you can run any single program on Linux. So that opens everything up to all the different emulators. It's got built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You can run Wi-Fi sniffers off there, Bluetooth hijackers. So you could have a little hacking tablet. So you could be at a party at the park, making you look like you're playing the Switch when you're scanning everyone's cell phone Bluetooth signals to try to do a Bluetooth hijack.
Wow, you know a lot about that.
I do. Don't ask why.
Oh, no.
But
in the year 2000. Anyway.
But the significance of this, regardless, is the fact that this is something that cannot be patched with software. So they could come out with a new firmware all day, every day to the end of time, and every single Switch out here can still be technically not hacked. It's actually really what they're doing is they're jailbreaking it. Just like you would with the phone. With the phones, you just bypass the operating system and you load your own shit on there, which is exactly what they're doing with the Switch. However, just like jailbreaking anything, like jailbreaking your phone or anything, there is a 50-50 chance of bricking it when you go to jailbreak it. So, user beware that you may take that $300 Switch and end up with a $300 piece of plastic.
Paperweight.
Yes.
Paperweight.
So... Hey, but when you buy your next Switch, you have an extra set of Joy-Cons, so there you go. True. And a dock. Hey, those docks are $80.
I know, and all they are is a hunk of plastic.
Yeah!
What the fuck? I don't need a second one, you know?
I actually thought about getting a second one, and again, first world problems, is when I get my office finished, I'm going to hook up my Elgato's. And it'd be nice to have a dock down there, that way I could do recordings of Switch plays. But... I'm not paying $80 for a fucking dock. I'll get extra cables down there, which I do have, and I'll just take the fucking dock here and take it downstairs.
Yeah, take it. Why? It's really this... I mean, the Switch is great and all when you're using it with, off the dock. Mm-hmm. It really is. Because I'll tell you, Megan plays that Splatoon, too.
Jack plays Doom all the time off the dock. Well, mostly because we're watching fucking Paw Patrol, but that's another story.
You need to get her a tablet.
She has a tablet.
I know, I'm just kidding.
She plays games while watching Paw Patrol.
Well, there's nothing like multitasking.
Because she has an Amazon tab, then what's it called? Amazon Free Time. It's $3 a month, and she gets like an entire library of games and programs for free that she can just download and play.
Well, not for free. I mean, it's like
it's $3 a month, but you're not paying per app.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So, and she could download them all on her own. She doesn't need a password or anything, so... That's how she got Sonic on there. She plays Sonic all the time. It's basically like Sonic Temple Run.
No, that's cool.
So, and she's good at it too, which is scary.
Well, yeah, all kids are good at everything. But that's a good thing. If the next generation's good at things that we were okay at, we're doing the right thing. That's how I always saw it.
So while we're talking about the Switch, I want to go off topic, if you don't mind. Today, I know you subscribe to him with your 2,506 YouTube subscriptions.
It's actually uncountable.
You just subscribe to all of YouTube.
Counting late 2005.
But Metal Jesus Rocks came out today with his second Switch Hidden Gems video today, and it's mostly stuff that's on the eShop. And I'm a big fan of the eShop, except for one thing. Now, this is all like the WiiWare stuff. It's all homebrew games or any developer. It's not like the virtual console. So
Yeah.
I lost that there. So it's not Nintendo licensed games. These are third-party games, independent developers, ports from other like they do a lot of Neo Geo ports for some reason. But here's my thing.
That Neo Geo license must be cheap or something. We'll
Yeah,
get into that later.
The games are like $8, but yeah, we have another story about that.
Yeah.
But so most of these games that are on there, I mean, they're cheap. They're almost all under $20. In fact, I just bought one a couple weeks ago for $4, and it's a fun little hack and slash game. But all of the art styles. Now we're in 2018. Everybody wants to do the whole 8 and 16-bit thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really run its course. It's like I am so sick of seeing these new games that have 8-bit and 16-bit graphics, except for like the lighting effects on the weapons and stuff like that. It's like, okay, we get you want to be old school and retro. That's the hot thing right now. But come on, just do something else. Just
Yeah.
you know.
You know, that was like I got a game on the PS4. I think it was last year called Zero Drifter, and it was like an 8-bit platformer. It was nice, you know. It was like an 8-bit It was like an 8-bit Metroid clone platformer kind of thing. It's kind of strange, but it had, instead of, you know, moving from screen to screen, you know, like Metroid would or Mario would, scroll right, scroll left. This thing lets you go into the background and foreground. So it was a neat concept, but
Kind of like the Virtual Boy with Wario.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect. But it didn't need to look 8-bit.
Yeah.
It just didn't need it, you know? And that was like, there was Steam World Dig. That game was fantastic. Looked about 16 bits, maybe at best 32.
I have seen that game. I didn't buy it because it looked.
It's a ton of fun. It is. It's a ton of fun. And it's easy. It's like
Dig Dug, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like Dig Dug with like light RPG elements.
Oh, okay.
Like very light, you know? And it's not even like leveling up. It's just like buying equipment. You know, that's it. But I remember like I downloaded it like 5:30 in the afternoon. It was a couple of Christmases ago I got that game. And my brother was in. And he sat down with me, and by 10 o'clock we would beat it. You know, and it was just me playing it the whole time. And it was a lot of fun. But it didn't need to look like that.
Yeah.
That's another case of that, you know.
And I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know if these things, our phones, have brought down the quality of independent games that everyone wants to make a mobile game. In fact, one of the games that Metal Jesus showed was a mobile game. It was a free-to-play mobile game, and they took out all the free-to-play stuff, and it's on the store. And you could tell by the graphics it was definitely like a phone game. But, I mean, we have all this technology around. I mean, this thing doesn't. The iPhone 8 Plus does not need. Same thing with your iPhone 10. Does not need to run 8-bit graphics. My son plays Mortal Kombat 10 on this all the time, and it looks fucking amazing. Why do we need 8-bit? Why do we need more pixels? I understand it's a hot thing and it's retro, but if you want to play that, there are thousands upon thousands of real retro games. Go play Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, NES, SNES, PC Engine. I mean, it's like there are tons of games out there that have this authentic experience.
And if you do have a modern system, there are plenty of retro arcade games available on all the major consoles.
Yes.
You know? Like, I was going through the PlayStation Store a while back, just sticking around. I was just, you know, once in a while I get curious to see what's really on it. And they have a whole arcade section on there, which I didn't really know about until somebody told me about it. And there's like Pac-Man and Galaga and Dig Dug and the Double Dragon 1 and 2, and it goes on and on. And this is about Double Dragon 4, but
we'll forget about that. That was just a mistake.
Oh, I like that game.
Really?
I do. Yeah, I like Double
Everything
Dragon.
I saw about it, it's just said it was glitchy as hell.
Yeah, but so was the original.
Moving on.
Yeah, you fucker. But it's like also, you know, you go on the Switch and it's like you got a lot of Nintendo's back library in there.
Yeah.
Coming, not in there yet.
No, it's going to be.
The ones I saw. Oh yeah, well yeah. They need a service like Netflix. That's what they need.
Well, Boogie2988 was talking about that.
I hate him.
I know you hate him. I actually like him. But he was saying now that the Switch is hacked and people can start putting whatever emulator they want on there with all the ROMs. I mean, you and I have RetroPies.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 128 gigabyte card in my RetroPie. It's barely half, it's a little over half filled, and I have probably a dozen complete libraries from systems on there. And it wouldn't be hard to do the same thing on a Switch. Like he said, pretty much the same thing. This is Nintendo's opportunity to offer a Netflix-like service, $10 a month, and you have access to X amount of games per month that you can play. And then the next month, there's a new set of games. And the month after that, there's a new set of games.
Here's my problem with that, okay? Nintendo has, as we famously have said it on this show and previous shows, all they do is resell your childhood to you.
But if they do that as a service, and say you get Contra, and you play Contra on their service, and you really like Contra and you don't want to lose that, then you should have the option for, say, $5 and buy Contra and make it part of your library. But every game should be, I'm not saying every game, a good portion. It should be like 200 games a month that are free to play with your subscription service, and every month they change. That way, if you want the game, they're going to make sales because of that, because people are going to find games they like that they don't want to lose the following month.
I think it should be more like this. $20 a month. You play. Now, it's just Nintendo's library.
Yeah.
Just Nintendo's library. You get access to anything in their back catalog from the N64 and back.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going all the way back to even Famicom, disk system shit. Okay? $20 a month.
I would even go GameCube and back.
GameCube's not a retro system. I don't know what you're talking about. I still have
16 years old, buddy.
Yeah, I don't care. No, it's not. No. Anything from N64 and back, $20 a month, you can play anything they had. It's perfect.
But
absolutely perfect.
You're talking first-party titles only, right?
No, I'm talking anything in there, anything that Nintendo legally could put on.
Okay, so let's
just say it that way.
Any licensed Nintendo game.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is most of the NES library.
And see, I don't think people are going to pay $20 a month for that, because that's more expensive than any other game service out there. It's more. Is GameFly still around? I know GameFly was never that expensive.
GameFly was like $17 a month for one game.
Exactly. It's.
That's fucking stupid.
But I think, I'm just saying as their entry level, it's not $20. $20 as an entry level is pretty high. Even with PlayStation Plus, you get your games, they're not charging you $20 a month. It's $50 for a year.
All right, so what's a nice round number?
I think $10 is your butter zone. Because think about it. We pay $10.
That's because you want it to be $10.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
What do we pay for Netflix?
$9.99.
So, well, not anymore. But we did.
We did.
It's $13 now, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway. At least for me it is. I have the 4K and the 5 streams at a time because I need the 5 streams in this household between tablets and TVs.
You ought to be like, you ought to take that off them one day and see what happens in the house.
Oh, God.
It's burned down. You come home.
Are you kidding? The internet actually went down last week for about 10 minutes, and you swear to God the house was on fucking fire the way they were running around and screaming.
Yeah. Like every so often, my router needs to be reset. You know? I don't know if that happens to you. I don't know why it happens to me. Like once every so often, you just got to reboot it. And you would think I took food away from them. It's hilarious.
The best is my daughter, when she's watching, like, say, Doc McStuffins, that's online streaming and not on the network, that as soon as, and again, she's my little girl. She's just like Daddy. She freaks out when it stops and starts buffering. Like, Daddy, what? It stopped. Daddy, stop. Did you do that? I'm like, no, honey, that's just buffering. I'm sorry.
See, that doesn't bother me. I grew up in the days of when buffering was a thing, and it don't bother me.
Well, I still have 2 real media movies that have been buffering since 1996.
Yeah. Real player.
Oh yes. But to get back, Netflix $10 a month, Hulu $10 a month. Was it Redbox streaming service? That's $10 a month. At $10 a month that's a nice little throwaway where
Yeah.
it's only $10 a month. You work that out, it works out to what? I mean, not pennies a day. I don't want to sound like Sally Struthers, but it works out pretty cheap.
Sally fucking Struthers. When she was relevant,
Is she still alive?
I have no idea. Remember she was on Tailspin? Let's move on.
But I think that's their butter zone. If they could do that, you get, say, 100 to 200 games a month. Every month it's a different cycle.
I think you're limiting the 100 to 200. I don't think you should do that. I think it should just be $10 a month. Here's the library. Have at it.
But there's no incentive there for extra purchasing. It's $10 a month.
Here's why I say this will work.
Okay.
You ready to hear my theory behind it?
Absolutely.
The WWE Network. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not a wrestling fan anymore. I was back in the day. WWE Network is $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now you get, I think, the past 30 days of all their wrestling shows. And they have a lot. They have more than what we had as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be like Monday Night Raw, and that was it. And then they had SmackDown, and now they have like NXT and all these other shows. I don't even know. And then they have their own fucking reality shows and shit. Because reality show. So, but you also, with that $10 a month, get the $60 to $70 per pay-per-view in that. So it's $10 a month. Like if you will go on if you had a dish or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
cable or whatever, it's like $60 or $70 for one of those pay-per-views, like WrestleMania or the SummerSlam or whatever like that. If you just wanted to watch it then. But if you have the WWF network, it's $10 a month, no matter what.
Okay. I'll counter your point. The WWE network, which will always be the WWF in my mind.
Yes, it is.
So they're selling the back catalog at $10 a month, to the whole point of getting people in with the new pay-per-views. Because let's be honest, how many times can you watch 30-year-old wrestling matches?
Well, it depends on the day of the week.
Okay. With Nintendo, you're not getting any new games. You're going to have access to the games you've probably bought 3 or 4 times already. You're just going off the convenience that now you have the Switch, that you could go anywhere and have those games with you on mobile. That to sustain that model, to have Nintendo for all the third-party developers to make it worth their time to have their games kind of for free available on there should be a limited time, and then you could buy them for $5 and keep them in your library, because there's no incentive there for, say, Data East or Konami to give their entire catalog if they're not going to see any major money back from that. Where if
but they would. I mean, you have to think about it.
But it's going to be more incentive.
Nintendo's going to go to Data East. I can't believe you brought them up. But
they made some good games.
They did, but Konami would have been anyway, Capcom, anybody else. You go to Capcom and say, hey, we're going to put it's like, you have to think of it in terms of, we are way off topic. In terms of like licensing shows to Netflix. Mm-hmm. Netflix pays a fee to put their show on there. Okay? So now Capcom, or whoever, I'm just using that as a reference. Capcom's got their money now.
Exactly. No, I'm agreeing with you here.
So then, now we could put your game on our service, and if this person foolishly, but they would still get it, they would still make money, because not everybody's going to subscribe to the service.
Yes, but like
you have like an 80% base of your Switch users subscribe to said service.
Exactly, but how you're saying with Netflix, they do that, but there are times that every month there are shows and movies that leave the service.
Okay, that's part of reality.
So if you, like when we talked about me downloading Ash vs. Evil Dead because I want to watch it, if I don't get time to watch it on Netflix, I have a local copy. Same thing if you're playing Earthbound, because that was just the AVGN's latest episode. If you are 18 hours into that and you find out on June 1st Earthbound goes away, but for $5 you keep your save point and the game is yours forever, who wouldn't put down the $5? Now they made their money off of your subscription service and an extra $5 in their pocket.
Are you arguing the point as the big evil N, or are you just trying to do this grounded somewhere in reality?
I'm doing this as the best value for your money.
But you're arguing for them to take more of your money.
I'm arguing.
This turned into like an argumentative show, by the way, and I don't know why that happened.
I'm arguing that you would get the more money you could throw at the game developers, the bigger of a catalog you're going to get. Then the best way to get the money is to have a revolving catalog with a purchase option, not an all-you-can-eat buffet. Because honestly, like you were talking, I think $10 a month for a limited number of games every month is feasible. If you want to go your way, again, I think you're absolutely correct. You're going to be looking at a $20 entry fee. And I don't think a lot of people are going to pay $20 a month to have access to, granted, thousands of games, but let's be honest, that they could download off the internet right now for free.
Yeah, this argument's kind of moot on that anyway, because, I mean...
But it's not moot. I have every single game that I would ever want to play on my RetroPie, but if I'm going away on vacation, I'm not going to take my RetroPie with me. But I'll put my Switch into the little case I have, throw it in my bag, and play it in the hotel room.
Why wouldn't you take the RetroPie with you?
Have you ever seen a hotel TV? A lot of times they fucking block all the HDMI ports with their little bracket. They do that on purpose. Because you have to buy their pay-per-view movies. I've had that a couple times at hotels.
That's fucking lame.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Let's get off this.
Okay. Let's agree to disagree.
Let's agree to disagree, yeah. That will not be the name of the show.
No, we already had that.
All right, we already had that. So while we're talking about Nintendo and Sony and all this crap, is the FTC gave Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and quite a few others 30 days to get rid of their illegal warranty void if remove stickers. I found this article like pretty late, actually like 3 hours ago.
I never even heard of it. So I could, kudos to you for finding, because this was all news to me.
Yeah. So on the back of like your PlayStation 4 and other famous hardware, and it's also from HTC, Hyundai, Nintendo, Microsoft, and the computer manufacturer Asus. Or Asus, I'm sorry.
Asus. Well, it is Cinco de Mayo, so Asus!
It's almost Cinco de Mayo. It's like an hour and 25 minutes to kill each other. Who's Zeus? Father of Olympus? Anyway, wow, that's pretty bad.
I think we found the episode title.
This letter places you on notice that violations of the Warranty and FTC Acts may result in legal action. So essentially, it's illegal for them to put that sticker on the back of your systems that say warranty void if damaged. It's like, don't pull this tag off my mattress kind of thing.
Which is great, because they've argued this for years, that if you're leasing the hardware, like our phones now, we don't pay for our phones outright. We lease them per month. It's a lease-to-own program. Mm-hmm. So technically, my phone, I'm paying X amount of dollars a month. AT&T still owns my phone until I pay them back. When I buy a PlayStation 4, I'm paying that $300. That hardware is mine. The software is not mine. The software is leased, and it's more licensed. But that hardware is mine. I should be able to rip that open and do anything I want, and you shouldn't care. As long as I don't touch the software, you shouldn't care. And they've argued for years that no, it's their proprietary hardware. Even though you own it, you're not allowed to modify it, which is bullshit. And I'm glad the FTC has finally come out and said that.
I'm actually partially shocked that Sony's actually wrapped up in this a little bit, is because Sony's always been open for you to open it up and take the hard drive out. You know what I mean? Like, they were the first console.
Okay, with the PlayStation 3, I know you're going there for that first one. The bay is free. I would tell you I've replaced many hard drives and PS3s. If you turn it to the back, there is a void if remove sticker on the back, so you physically can't open it. My very first PlayStation, the PlayStation 3 Fat, ran into the yellow blinking light of death, and I had to go with a heat gun and reset the solder points. For me to open that up and get that unit working, I had to void the warranty.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah, I'm not touching the software. It's a known flaw in those models that the solder points actually just pop off, and that gets you your yellow blinking light of death. You have to take a heat gun, run it over everything to reflow the solder, and then you're
fixed.
But do
they have a here's a question that says you don't technically have to do that. I'm sure you could. They have somewhere you could send it
for a fee. And
exactly, and that's what they want you to do.
And typically, with all new hardware, you get a 1-year limited manufacturer's defect only warranty. And either way, you have to send it out at your expense. I fixed my PlayStation 3 in a few hours, and most of that time was spent taking it apart and putting it back together. Fixing the actual solder points literally took about 10 minutes with a heat gun. You run the heat gun over it till everything gets nice and shiny. You let it sit and cool down, put everything back together, and it ran just fine for a couple more months. Then it did the same thing, and then I did it again, but it was truly dead at that point. So.
Anyway, so.
But
it's nice to see the FTC step in on well, I would say the big three here anyway. I wonder how this will relate into the old. Well, you're not changing anything on the hardware with our first story about Nintendo. So. That's all. Well, that is hardware related, but it's also
you're not gonna be able to pull off a chip and put a new one in. So
no. So
and actually, I don't think on the Switch there is a void if removed warranty sticker on it.
Well, it must be somewhere because they were served with the same paperwork as everybody else. So
I'm trying to think.
Maybe not.
I'm trying to think of any of their systems. I don't think any of their systems have that, unless it's the handhelds. Maybe have that.
Maybe.
So, the NES doesn't. The SNES doesn't. I know the N64 doesn't because I've done replacement shells on that. The GameCube, maybe.
You can get that HDMI thing for the GameCube.
Yeah. For only $200.
I can't believe how much they cost.
Yeah.
And I've looked up other ones, too, like... wasn't the GameCube? Maybe it was the GameCube adapter. And then there was another one for... Was it the Dreamcast I saw one that was made?
The Dreamcast has...
The VGA adapter.
Well, they actually do. I've actually looked into it. You actually have to buy 3 different adapters. You buy a VGA adapter, which then goes into an HDMI box, which then has to go into a third box... which I forget what the third box is. Go online. You find videos on it. The whole setup. Now, I already have the VGA box, so I don't have to buy that. But the HDMI box and the other one runs you like $100 and some. It's not outrageous, but...
It's not worth it, though,
It's not worth it because all the TVs I have VGA inputs. And your crispness is only going up like 15-20%. It's more of a convenience for anything else. And
both my TVs have the VGA adapter, come to think of it. I should just get one.
And if you look at your online collection or your disc collection of Dreamcast games, not all of them are VGA compatible.
No, there isn't many that aren't.
No, there's not many that aren't, but it's not... You spend all this money to have it come out through HDMI, you're still going through VGA, so you still run that risk of a part of your library still being able to be not played on that.
It doesn't matter. The only good games on it anywhere were Soul Calibur and fucking Quake 3.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2, bitch.
Well, nah. See, I got it on the PS3. I don't have to wait for it to load. Oh, yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom, though.
We're talking single system, though. We're talking just the Dreamcast.
I agree.
Yeah. And there's a lot more better games on there, too.
Speaking of single system.
Yes.
The NES, it's another case of the overrun of the minis. This is like, Sega's was a couple weeks ago. Nintendo's already thrown everything they got at us except for the N64 Mini, which...
is coming for holiday season 2019, or 2018, actually, probably.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's been every year they've done one.
So maybe we'll get the GameCube Mini?
Dude.
Anyway, you're up here, right?
Yeah, I'm up here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm on top of you, bitch.
Yeah, keep it dreaming. That's not what you're... Anyway, no.
So here's the thing. The Neo Geo Mini was not quite officially announced, but it was unofficially announced with lots of leaked images. And the thing I find fascinating about this, besides Neo Geo, if you've never played the Neo Geo catalog, you're doing yourself a disservice. They have some fantastic games out there.
Yeah, but I hope you like fucking 27 Metal Slugs.
Yeah.
Well, they went overboard with that.
But the thing I find fascinating is all of our minis up until this point have looked like the home system. The Neo Geo mini is a mini arcade cabinet, which is a totally different approach.
I like that. And that hooks up to the TV.
Yes.
And, but you can play it either way. You can play it on its little tiny screen. It's 3.5 inch. Was that what the size of it was? I couldn't remember.
It's tiny. The only thing I did not see, which I may have missed in the article, is do you, even when you hook up to the TV, do you still have to use the controller that's built into the arcade cabinet, or can you hook up, like, say, a Bluetooth controller or something?
You could hook up a USB controller to
it. Okay, so that's worth it.
It says it later. It says it later in the
okay. Part. I probably stopped reading before that then. So.
Yeah, you even skim your own stories. That's great.
Yeah, that's okay.
At least you're honest. Yeah, this is really neat, and there's a lot of games out here. Like I have not played a lot of Neo Geo games. Like I played all the King of Fighters probably like that, and I remember playing Samurai Showdown when that was a relevant thing, And I think I played one of the Metal Slugs, but most of these, like I don't know them. That's not a bad thing.
A lot of their fighting games, like the SNK games and King of Fighters, they're it's more anime style than Capcom style when it came to Street Fighter. So there's more flash, there's smoother movement, but for me anyway, the gameplay is better on Capcom, but the graphics are better on the SNK on the Neo Geo.
I think I don't know. I always found the King of Fighters controls a little wonky.
We come from the Street Fighter world. When you come to the Street Fighter world, it's nowhere even close to that.
And then they, that and Fatal Fury and Samurai Showdown, they're all kind of that same way.
Yeah.
Because I remember too, like King of Fighters had that dual plane where you could be in the foreground and background, and it was supposed to be like a strategic thing to move out of the way and stuff like that. It was before obviously 3D fighting games became a thing, but it just seems a little. They always seem kind of weird to me. Now, like when I played Capcom versus SNK 1 and 2, like it felt good because Capcom designed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They just inserted SNK characters, but then they had it the other way around years later, where it was SNK versus Capcom's Chaos or something it was called, and SNK designed that one because they looked very SNK. And if you didn't know, the guy who created, I think, either King of the Fighters or Fatal Fury was one of the original creators of Street Fighter 2. He left Capcom and then went on to create those games. So I don't know the dude's name. It's probably unpronounceable. So, unless you are out for a little bit of Americanization theater, because I can't say certain names like that. Like there's some games on this list like that have the Kazuna encounter. Anyway.
But it is a good option for those people who are Neo Geo fans that don't want to take the time to collect Neo Geo, because Neo Geo is not cheap to collect for.
It depends on what you're going for. The Neo Geo, the brick cartridge one, I can't remember, the AVS or the...
Yeah, it's basically the same thing that runs the arcade machines. It's the same exact cartridge.
Yeah. I know, like, whether you like him or not, the guy who does Classic Game Room, Mark Bussler, he has one of the 4 cartridge Neo Geo machines, the arcade ones. Yeah. And I forgot about those things because they were always so fucking hokey looking in the arcade. Because it had like A, B, it had like Samurai Showdown and this and this and this.
Kind of like Player's Choice machines. It's like, really?
Player's Choice was cool until you realize they were already games you've already had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've already played Super Mario 3.
Why am I going to play in the arcade,
Yeah, and on time.
Yeah.
But they were neat. You know what I mean? That was part of Nintendo's big strategy. But he has one of those 4-player, back to that, he has one of those 4-player Neo Geo machines, or 4-cartridge Neo Geo machines. And all you have to, it's the truth, you can just take that out and put it right in the AVS, or you can pick the AVS games and put them right in that machine and they work. It was a genius idea, except for the cartridges are like the fucking War and Peace, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's not, I would never collect for the Neo Geo.
No.
I stick to consoles I owned.
Yeah, I can honestly say, I mean, of all the consoles I own, the only ones I would probably buy that I don't currently own is I would probably buy another N64, and kicking myself in the ass, I'd probably buy a Super Nintendo, considering I had a brand new one in box I sold many years ago that I never should have. But other than that, any other system that I really want to collect for, honestly, I'm going to do ROMs just because I don't have the time or money to invest in getting a collection. Plus, I was going to say, plus I'm not too familiar with those systems, so I don't want to buy games that I don't know without trying first.
Yeah. Plus the physical space you need.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
a console itself doesn't take up a whole lot of room.
No, but you got to worry about the connectors.
I didn't say that. I just
Okay.
said having a spot for it on
Yeah.
your, entertainment stand or desk or whatever is totally fine.
Like, have you ever seen Mike Matei's setup?
Yeah.
From Cinemassacre, that he had. I mean, his console table has just cables coming out of everywhere, going into this box and that box, and then for the older systems to play on a modern TV without any kind of lag, you have to have a frame meister, and the frame meisters are like $200, and to get rid of the input lag, and it's a lot.
It is. It's a ton. That's why I say I only collect for systems and games that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So.
Because the only systems I really collect for now is the PS2 and the Dreamcast. Because NES, I'll be honest, I've bought one NES game in the last 15 years. And because it was one of those childhood games that I never owned, I borrowed it from all my friends. Other than that, I'm okay with emulating a lot of the other games that I don't have. Because I have pretty much all my favorite games I have on cartridge.
Yeah.
So
I have like a small collection of all the ones I love.
Yeah, that's what I have, and I'm okay with that. You know
what I mean? Like, I'm always looking for a really nice cartridge of the original Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
And because I never owned the game, I always rented, or like you said, borrowed it. I rented, I think, more than I did anything. But because I had passwords, so I didn't really have to worry about its. I didn't even know what that was at the time because it wasn't really like a thing. Saving it,
Yeah.
Still had Zelda that did it, but not all the games had it. I mean, Zelda was the only one for years until Zelda 2.
No, Final Fantasy had it. The original.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about the game. Final Fantasy 1, the
Yes.
slowest RPG of all time. I see it.
That came with the biggest book of all time for the NES. The thing was like a small novel.
Yeah.
And the map you got. So first game you got with a map, and you're like, why do I need this? And then you start playing the game going, holy shit, I'm glad I have a map.
Man, I'm glad I have this. So. And the Duke Nukem speedrun you sent me?
Yes.
I've seen that before.
Have you?
That's fantastic.
And it goes along with the other one, the Mega Man 2 one I sent you, that both these speedruns completely are reliant upon clipping inside the game. And it's like, I never knew the clipping was possible in Mega Man 2, and I never knew some of the stuff in Duke Nukem. That the shit he was doing, that you hit this at a certain angle, and then, what was it, you jump up, then duck, and then when you hit the ground, you jump again, and you start clipping through all these walls in Duke Nukem. It's like...
Well, that's how they avoid the shit for the shrink ray. Like, there are certain moments in Duke Nukem 3D where you have to get hit by the shrink ray beam to go through small openings.
Yeah.
It's a mechanic of the game. And there's a way to break it.
Yeah, and he was showing on the Duke Nukem. Now, this is Duke Nukem 3D, the original PC game, that the one level, right in the beginning, there was a hidden exit that you had to know exactly where to hit, and just shit like that. I mean, I never got into speedrunning PC games, but it was just like all these years and never knew about half this shit. And the way he was talking about, if you hit certain clips in certain ways, it actually jumps you like to the next episode.
Yeah.
Because it gets confused. Because I was watching that, and I had the volume low because my wife was in there too, and she was doing something else. I think she was reading something. So I had the volume kind of low, and when he's like, "Oh yeah, this game is completely broken," and I'm like, "Why is he saying it's completely broken?" Then after the speed run, which he completed the whole game in 12 minutes and change, he goes back and he shows you how it's broken and explains it. And it's like, damn, that is a broken ass game.
Yeah, like one of my favorite parts of that speed run is you have not the first boss, but the Overlord, the second boss.
Yeah.
How you don't even have to fight him, and there's an exit switch in the room.
Yeah.
Like, I never do that. I feel like 1,000 times, probably more than that. And I was like, I could have just went over and hit a button and walked away, and you find out, and every time I watch a speed run of any shooter or any game I've ever played, I attempt to try some of that shit.
Yeah.
and it comes out with less than good results.
And I have to give that guy. Now, this was part of Games Done Fast, which is a charity event for cancer. That
was 2014.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So he actually at one point he goes, "This next one you die 50% of the time," and he actually saved it, and he did die the first attempt, which is nice to see someone doing a speed run and actually fuck up, because most of them, as soon as they fuck up, they reset everything. But he's like, "No, I'll keep going." That it was nice to see it. Like the Mega Man 2 speed run I sent you, which again relies on a lot of clipping. I honestly have never beat Mega Man 2 completely. I've made it to the first Dr. Wily stage, the first version of Dr. Wily, I should say. But I never made it to the last one because I always ran out of guys by then. But to see him go through the entire game, not losing a single guy, is just impressive beyond belief. But he skips a lot of the levels through the clipping, so it's not really that unbelievable to a point.
When you're watching the video and it's like, and as the times on the left.
Yeah.
Which, better or worse, I don't know. I don't know. I would just rather watch a speed run without all that shit and just watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. But it'd be like, he beats Airman at 4 minutes and 53 seconds, and then he beats Heatman at 6 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did you get through Heatman stage in less than a minute?
Uh-huh.
And then you see it, like he clips through walls.
Yeah.
And he does all this crazy shit,
Like all the hard parts, he just clips right past. It's like, no wonder you're not losing any life.
Yeah.
The only one that was impressive is, what stage is it? Is it Quick Man? Where there's a whole stage where the blocks disappear and reappear.
Oh, that's Heatman.
Heatman? That he had all those memorized, which was damn impressive.
Yeah. I don't even attempt that anymore. I know the sequence I use to beat the Robot Masters gets me the jet slide thing, and I just drive past it. I can't do it. I don't have the care to do it anymore, I guess you could say. I don't know. But I like some of them where you actually see him break the game.
Yes.
Like, he's going. You can see the wrong screen is loaded, but he's going through the correct one, and it's all screwed up. And then all of a sudden, it resets itself.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the resets in his favor because he's right outside the boss room.
Yeah. Or I love it when he goes to the boss room, and to get through there, you have that little corridor. Well, he's all the way at the top of the screen. He's not even in the corridor. It opens up, and he drops down in the middle of the boss battle. Yeah.
I mean, some of the bosses like that work to advantage to him. Like there's one in Wily's stages, whatever, that you have to have one. You're not supposed. Well, you can. You can't. One of the weapons you need is that crash bomber thing, and you only get so much of it, but it's the only thing that will defeat the boss. And there's just enough to do it. So one mess up,
you're toast.
And you have to die and refill the weapon and then go into the boss, And he does it with plenty to spare.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's disgusting. It really is.
Speedruns are one of my favorite things. I love them. I can never stop watching.
Well, the first one my wife ever saw with me was that wonderful Mario one I sent you, where they actually go into the higher math of everything.
Yeah.
And she's watching, she goes, how do people play it that quick and understand this? I'm like, you don't understand. This is all they do. They don't have to look at the screen half the time. They have everything memorized by muscle memory.
Yeah. I remember watching...
Because that Duke Nukem one, the way he was moving so fast and hitting this and hitting that, I'm like, how the hell does he know which way he's facing it right now?
I know. And he overuses the steroids.
Yeah.
I never use. I don't know.
No, I've never used them either.
You use them once in a while. And that's fine. He doesn't have to crawl.
I think my son likes crawling behind me. Oh, that sounded horrible. I apologize.
Yeah. I apologize to most of the world for this statement.
There's my boy.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's all go to the... Anyway. But I think like those speedruns, I can watch them all day long. Mm-hmm. I love them.
That's why I think I'm going to start watching some speedruns of some more modern games to see if mostly speedruns are mostly the retro systems anyway. I'm curious to see if anybody does speedruns of any kind of modern games.
Oh, sure they do.
Do they?
Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey.
So I don't know if I consider that a speedrun when it's 3 hours long.
Like Doom.
Like Doom?
Yeah, I've seen people do speedruns of Doom.
The Doom 2 or the new Doom?
The new Doom.
The new Doom?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
From the mouths of babes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same
I
exact
saw
thing.
a video that said the whole Doom in 28 minutes.
28 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to send me that video.
Well, I have to find it first.
Chop. It's like God of War. Anyway, with his son. Calls him boy.
Boy.
It's real. Actually, that game's really good.
I've heard good things about it.
I started to play it yesterday afternoon after I got out of work.
They're saying it's the first 10 out of 10 for a PlayStation 4 game.
I can see why. It's that good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only a couple hours into it, and it's weird to see Kratos in this Norse mythology thing, because you're used to him being, Olympus and all this, but they're all dead by his own hands, and he's just trying to, I'm not going to blow into the story, but he's just trying to.
I'm sorry. When you said dead, died by his hand, I automatically thought of Weird Al Yankovic's Yoda. I know Darth Vader's really got you annoyed, but remember, if you kill him, then you'll be unemployed.
Anyway, yeah, be out of a job. They don't really explain what happened in between the movies. The games.
Wow.
Yeah, tired starting to set in here. Between the games, because at the end of the last God of War was God of War 3, which is the end of the story for him. They left him on like this sword of Olympus, and he's jammed it in the ground, and he's dying. He's dead. So.
No, keep talking. Sorry, I'm on mute. I'm yelling to my son to let the dog out.
Oh, okay. No, you weren't on mute, by the way.
I was on the stream.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
So, Kratos he's moved on to a simpler life. He has a son and a wife and a home in the Norse regions, and he hasn't found any peace in his life because he'll never be able to. He's such an angry, miserable motherfucker, But the game starts pretty much like some of the other God of Wars with tragedy. Kratos' wife has died, and he's got to be a dad now, and you're getting fucking the cops coming, or
that's my son with my flashlight. There's a setting mode which we always call Rave mode, and he's giving me a flashlight.
Should be going like this. He should be fucking Rave. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a GIF. But the game overall, it's just beautiful to look at. It really is, and it changes everything you knew about God of War. It's not the same it's sort of butt mashery, but it isn't either. There is some tactic to it. So, but I don't want to blow anything for anybody who may be playing it, or you someday you might. Yeah, right.
I'll be honest. You lent me the God of Wars, and I played. I don't think any of it. I'll be honest.
No, at least you're honest. So, but
my game time is smaller than your dick. Let's put it that way.
Ooh, that's payback for something way earlier than that. So, overall, I mean, I can see why people are calling it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because it's not even so much the gameplay that's awesome; it's the story. The story has you drawn in for.
And they say the graphics are incredible.
It is. You could see each follicle of hair, and his beard, and when the blood lands on him, you could see it just kind of slide down. It's crazy good, man. I can imagine what it would look like on a PS4 Pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be amazing. I've seen the comparisons, actually. It is, but. So, all right, enough of that. I don't think we had a topic for this show.
It was all over the place, but that's some of our best shows.
It is. Whether people like it or not.
And let me just check my phone, but I think we actually did hit. Oh, no, one last thing we didn't hit upon. So, Deadpool 2, we talked about it coming out.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes. They got the one and only Celine Dion to do a song for Deadpool 2 called Ashes. And go on YouTube, look up Celine Dion Ashes or Celine Dion Deadpool. And why I don't care about the song, it is a hilarious video.
It's very Celine Dion.
Yes.
The song, you know what I mean? If
and
you've ever heard anything of hers.
And unlike Jerry the first time, you got to watch to the very end for the best part.
You do. I started watching the video when you sent it to me, Ashes from Deadpool. I'm like, well, this is like an okay Celine Dion song. Okay, whatever. I didn't let it go all the way through, but I guess it's a lesson learned. So. Keep it up, One-Eyed Willie. Keep it up.
You're so dark. Are you sure you're not part of the DC universe?
I still wonder if that line's going to make it into the
It has to. It really does.
Film. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I just love the fact the other day I was cutting grass down at the cemetery and I was going down a hill and I had to slow up and I'm slowing up a little bit and I got to make a quick turn and in my head I heard Deadpool go, "Whoa, pump the brakes there, Thanos."
Yeah. Pump the hate brakes, Thanos. Josh Brolin, what a smart man. He got himself into both ends of Marvel's film rights.
So...
But I think we're out of things.
I do think we're actually out of things. So
yeah. Wow.
What? Actually, we're at exactly an hour and a half. So that's usually
that's pretty good.
Shows.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So considering how far off topic we went.
Yeah.
So
just remember, if you really like our shows, subscribe, and even better, sponsor us.
Yes. We will take sponsors.
Yeah. I don't care what you're selling. We'll say it on the show.
Speaking of sponsors,
we're saying power dildos. We'll say it. We're good with it.
We just won't try them out. So
no. I mean, I could give them to people I know.
Well, upon your recommendation about 2 years ago, I actually joined the Dollar Shave Club last week.
Oh, the Dollar Shave Club is great. So, you know what? My only problem with the Dollar Shave Club is I'm not a consistent enough shaver.
I'm not. I actually haven't had a razor in almost 2 years because I use it so little. I was hanging in my shower caddy and the blade completely rusted. And because I don't shave that often, they actually don't make that razor anymore, so there's no replacements for it. So I just threw it away. And now that I got rid of the beard and just doing the goatee, sorry for hitting the microphone, I wanted,
it's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to start shaving again, and a little ad came up in my Instagram for Dollar Shave Club, and so I did the classic, which was the razor, 4 blades, and the full size shave butter, and then the great thing I thought was you could put it on hold. I don't need blades every month, so I put it on hold for 3 months. And I'll get my blades in 3 months rather than every month. But it was $5.30 with free shipping. You can't buy a razor and any kind of shaving material for $5.30.
See, but I stopped using like shaving creams and butter years ago. I just shave in the shower when it's hot.
I don't have a mirror in my shower, so.
Yeah, we've talked about this somehow. Didn't we have a body groomer episode? Anyway.
What's that, buddy?
Cole climbed onto her little hamster house and then climbed onto her wheel and then was doing this.
Well, here, come here. For those of you on video, what was your hamster doing? What was that face she was making?
Yeah. There's another GIF.
Yes.
She was on top of her wheel.
Yes, Cola is my son's hamster, so.
Yeah.
For those of you wondering why,
I have Caleb the guinea pig. It's okay.
People are probably wondering, why is Cola jumping on a house?
A can of Coke.
Yeah, just
bouncing.
Smash! You know?
What's that, Burger King?
Actually, KFC. My wife was at a band fest all day, and she was hungry, but she's a soda snob. She doesn't drink Pepsi, and that's what KFC has, so she gives me her soda when she goes there.
She doesn't drink Pepsi?
She only drinks Coke. You can go to bed now.
Thank you.
It's the only time he's ever asked to go to bed.
That's because he didn't want to be on the internet.
That's okay.
Well, you know what? Even though I prefer Coke, and this will be the last thing I got to help in the show. Even though I prefer Coke, I will drink Pepsi if it's there.
I'll drink either or. I prefer Pepsi, but she actually will, when we go to a restaurant, she'll actually go, "Do you have Coke or Pepsi?" And if they say Pepsi, she goes, "Okay, I'll have an ice water." Yeah. She actually won't even.
She'll be the person I always wanted to see is Pepsi okay? No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's actually said that.
Life,
she's actually, like, if she was lost in the desert and she finally finds an oasis and it's a Pepsi venue, she'll go, "I'm good. I'll find another one." You know?
Just give me death, you know?
So I'm not the only one with first world problems. My wife has them too.
No, everybody's got first world problems.
So
you know what I mean? I have to wear pants. That's a first world problem.
And we thank you for that. We really do.
Yeah. Well, you only see from down. You know.
Well, I on the video, I got the, I guess you could say the short end of the stick because my screen is wider than it is tall, so you
Yeah.
literally just see my chin down or chin up. You don't even see the top of my head.
If chins could kill.
You have more
well.
chins than Chinatown.
Yeah. It's a hell of a lot of Wong numbers.
Oh.
I was watching Hudson Hawk this week.
I think
All
that's about it. So, like Jerry said, rate us on iTunes, give us a star, give us 5 stars, write a review. Check out our website, 40somethingpodcast.com. There you could stream the episodes for free. You don't even have to go onto iTunes if you want. YouTube, all the links for every episode on YouTube is on the website. Also, don't forget you can listen to us through any Amazon Alexa device. So
You're so proud of that.
I am. I have
Yeah,
them.
you're so proud of that one.
I love my devices. So
Yeah, I know.
plus I love the fact that the one in the bedroom, I have it set not to Alexa because that's our living room one, but I have it set to computer. So it's great in the morning and you're just laying there like, computer, what's the weather today? Just like Star Trek, and she'll tell you the weather.
I was just gonna say, here comes the Star Trek reference.
Yes.
Here comes.
And it's nice because we have a sound bar in the living room, in the bedroom, because the TV sound is horrible. You take it above like 10 and it rattles the casing because of the TV so old. So I have that hooked up. The soundbar is Bluetooth, so I have that paired to the Echo. Yeah. So like I'll just turn that on, and my daughter and I will have a dance party because I'll just start playing the Amazon Music. So
Yeah, you're gonna have to make up a GIF of you dancing before. That's got to happen. Yeah. I want that. That's so going on. That's so going on my computer. That's gonna happen.
So
All right, that's it. Shut this shit down.
yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, especially if you made it this far.
Yeah.
I know most people haven't, and most people won't.
Most people like Jerry and Trev. I'm fucking shut this off.
Seriously.
Yeah.
These guys were old years ago when they were on Growing Up Geek.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. For those of you out there, happy Mother's Day. We won't be around for Mother's Day. So,
Yeah. We'll be spending time with the mothers in our lives.
yes. So, okay, guys. Catch you later.